two teams are out. This is how they're lining up. Ipswich, Gladkey in goal. Ball, Edmondson and Baggett. Jackson, Evans, Taylor and Williams. Harness, Ladapo and Hutchinson. For Wolves, Bentley in goal. Johnny, Santi, Totti and Hugo Bueno. Then Traore and Doyle. Doherty and Huang wide. And Sarabia in behind Kaladzic up front. The Ipswich bench, Wolfenden, Burns and Chaplin, Aluko, Luongo and Hurst, Humphreys, Delancian and Slicker. For Wolves, Aitmarie, Joao Gomez, Fabio Silva, Tess Cunha, Kilman, Gonzalez, Hodge, back from injury, Fraser, and the summer signing, former Northampton goalkeeper Tom King. Ipswich, blue shirts with white trim, white shorts. Wolves, old gold and black. Two-time winners of this competition back in 1974 and 1980. And desperate for more success this time around. And it's going to be Ipswich that will get us underway. Prior to this season, Ipswich had only won 2 EFL Cup ties in 7 years. Even though their priorities lay elsewhere, success breeds success. Tonight, they face Wolves, who hope the Cup will play them into form ahead of their weekend meeting with the champions. Has been more than a decade since Ipswich have beaten Premier League opposition. But is tonight the night? Marcus Harness gets us underway. Ipswich kicking from left to right as we look at it. Long ball played for by Edmondson and headed away by Santi Bueno at the heart of the Wolves back line. Ball brought down in the midfield and Brandon Williams, although from Manchester United, able to win it back for Ipswich and just scoop the ball down the line that Bueno can run round and he'll work it back to his goalkeeper Dan Bentley, who skies a high ball forward towards the halfway line. Brought under control very neatly in the midfield by Evans. Go back for his goalkeeper. Gladkey down to the right back position for Don Ball, and now Harness working it forward towards halfway, where it's brought under control by Totti. Trying to buy a throw. He didn't get the touch that he wanted off Jackson's out of play for a throw. In fact, he did just hit Jackson on his way and out for a throw, which will be taken on the Wolves there. Through the opening minute here in Suffolk tonight, and it's Ipswich 0, Wolves 0 here on TalkSport 2 with Matt Holland.
Yeah, I'm mentioning in the midfield for Ipswich tonight. Jack Taylor and Lee Evans playing in the middle of the park. It's an audition of who's going to partner Massimo Luongo at the weekend against Huddersfield, because skipper Sam Morsey suspended. Sam Morsey and Massimo Luongo have formed a brilliant partnership in the centre of the pitch for Ipswich, but they're going to miss the skipper at the weekend, so these two are playing for a place at the weekend.
There have been a little bit of speculation perhaps that Morsey would be in tonight. He's already picked up 5 yellow cards in the league, which is why he's earned that suspension. First opportunity for Ipswich to try and get the ball forward. It's surely overhit, only just as it turned out for Jackson. Chased after it, couldn't keep it in. Out of play for a goal kick that'll be taken by Dan Bentley, away to our right-hand side. This is actually a fixture, I don't think going back quite as far as your days, but it's not one that has favoured Ipswich at all. They haven't scored in their last 5 meetings with Wolves. Daryl Murphy, the last Ipswich player to have found the net in this fixture. They played 488 minutes and counting since they last scored a goal. Wolves winning the last 2 meetings of the 2 by a goal to nil. The previous 3 before that all goalless. But somehow you don't see this one as being a low-scoring affair. Huang, the one that Wolves player retained from the weekend, has gone down holding his face. A clash there with Evans. Referee tonight is Sam Barrett. Actually took charge of Ipswich's win at Sunderland on the opening weekend. Just went across, made sure Huang was okay. He saw it as a genuine coming together, just a collision between the pair of them. Play resumes with an Ipswich throw, and it's worked forward into the feet of Evans, who neatly plays it down towards Ball. Ball back for Edmondson, and Edmondson working it through the midfield. Ipswich very neat and tidy in possession the opening stage of the game. Yeah, unsurprising. They want to try and play from thirds if possible. They are quite direct at times. Ipswich, they can play long and they can play over the top. They do like to play through the thirds as much as possible. Wolves bring it down in the midfield. First opportunity for Doyle to get the ball into feet, and he dealt with it so beautifully. Took it on his chest. Players coming in from either side of him, but he very effectively worked it back. Wolves in possession with Totti. And now towards Hugo Bueno on the left-hand side. It is almost a 5 as far as Wolves are concerned, with 3 centre-halves, Johnny playing on the right of the 3. Certainly a lopsided back 4, really, as far as Wolves are concerned. Doherty will play the ball forward here, and it'll be laid off to the right. Hwang making a run through the middle. Sliding chance, gets it away. Played in towards Hwang. Big chance. 1-0 Wolves. And it's taken them only 3.5 minutes to find the breakthrough. Played into Hwang on the edge of the penalty area, and he had the time to take a touch and drive it low, left-footed, past Lackey into the goal. He got a hand to it, the goalkeeper couldn't keep it out, and it's Ipswich 0, Wolves 1.
Just highlights the quality that Wolves do possess. Ipswich have had the majority of possession earlier in the game, played some nice stuff. The first time we see Wolves counter, and they take advantage. Don Ball comes across to try and help out his centre-backs, but just plays it back into the path of Kaladzic. So Hwang's in space, the space that Don Ball has vacated, and he slams it past Lackey. Punished early, Ipswich.
Well, he's been in good goal-scoring form, Hwang. He's scored 4 goals this season. All of them have come early in games. Scored against Liverpool in the opening 10 minutes. I say early. The 2 that he scored coming off the bench in matches, he scored within 6 minutes of making an appearance, and he scored within 4 minutes of the start of this one tonight. Ipswich 0, Wolves 1. Very good start from Gary O'Neill's men. One-sided goal. And they punish the Championship side emphatically. Now Hugo Bueno will head it down towards the corner flag, where Hwang is going to be able to keep it in, and he can play it off ball, but it's a little double ricochet, sees it bounce back off the knee of Hwang and out of play for a goal kick.
It's a step up in quality, isn't it? We've seen Ipswich in League One last season, stepped up to the Championship and been brilliant. Punished by Leeds, who were in the Premier League last season here, conceding 4 goals and got beat against quality opposition and quality forward players. And already, early on in this game, we've seen that extra bit of quality in the final third that Wolves do possess, and they punished Ipswich.
About the first goal of the night, and Wolves looking for a second here, and only a deflection on a shot from Doherty around the edge of the penalty area, denies them. He just took a vital touch off the top of the foot of an Ipswich player to send it spiralling over Clanky's bar, out of play for a corner.
There's a man who got a couple of goals against Blackpool in the last round, Matt Doherty, on his return to Wolves, making the most of his opportunity on that right-hand side, driving to the box. He does like to get himself into goal-scoring positions.
Hwang with the opener, Doherty close to making it 2. In comes the corner. Wolves first of the night, and Evans is there to head it away. Out for a throw that will be taken over on the Wolves' right-hand side. Not the start of a side lacking confidence, with 4 defeats in 6 league games so far. Much changed Wolves' team, but when they've had possession, they have played it around very neatly so far, and there's been a potency about what they've been doing. Hugo Bueno laying it back to Doyle, and then Doyle can turn back to his goalkeeper. Bentley playing it out. Totti through the midfield, where it's laid off by Traore. Doyle down towards Hwang, who stretched the bounce of the ball, did him no favours, and just went over his outstretched leg. Goes out for a throw that'll be taken on the Ipswich right-hand side. 7 minutes gone here on TalkSport 2. It's the only goal of the night in the EFL Cup so far. Ipswich 0, Wolves 1.
You mentioned about Wolves' formation, how it's slightly lopsided. It's back 4, come 5. Matt Doherty cushioning on that right-hand side. Ipswich are very similar in many respects, because Caden Jackson is playing on the right-hand side, and it's slightly lopsided as well, because he pushes further forward, but occasionally when they're out of possession they do get back into a 5 as well, so the formations are quite similar.
Ipswich's turn to bring it forward with Amari Hutchinson, former Arsenal man who signed for Ipswich on loan from Chelsea and has impressed so far. Evans taking it on inside the penalty area. Good movement from Brandon Williams. Goes down under a challenge from Doherty. The referee says no foul. And play will be allowed to continue. No VAR tonight, incidentally. Just Sam Barrett having a look at it. It was Doherty and Johnny that were coming in from either side on the Ipswich man. Brandon Williams back to his feet, and no real discernible complaints from him.
No, I think the referee got that absolutely spot on. He was in a really great position to see it. Brandon Williams has got licence to get forward from that left-hand side.
Wolves in possession on the inside right channel. High ball that was, I thought, Headed by Hugo Bueno. Once the ball had gone out of play, and certainly his feet were over the line, but the referee said he kept it in. Ipswich winning the seconds, able to then work it forward for Freddie Ladapo. Harness couldn't find him with a return ball, and as he came back to Harness, Doyle converged on him very quickly to knock it away, and he'll go back for Dan Bentley in the Wolves goal. 8 minutes gone, 0-0, 1-0, I beg your pardon, 1-0 as well. Mansfield leading Peterborough by goal to nil. The League Two side ahead of Phil Mill with an early penalty from Will Swan. We'll keep you up to date with all the goals as they go in. Mansfield still unbeaten this season, a run of 12 games going into the back end of last season, and leading League One Peterborough, courtesy of that Will Swan penalty. Here it's Hwang on target. Wolves leading 1-0. Trying to release Kalajic down the right-hand side of the penalty area, but the ball's overhit and picked up by Gladkey, and he will be able to get it out for Jack Taylor, who can turn in possession in the midfield and try and get Ipswich going again.
Yeah, considering both sides have made 10 changes each, it's been a really good start to the game, hasn't it? A high tempo, both sides are playing some nice football, quite cohesive. Wolves have impressed me, the speed that they've made their passes into midfield, and their movement's been good.
Baggett, the Indonesian international, playing on the left of the back three for Ipswich. Now played forward to Marcus Harness. Harness out of the touchline for Jackson. On ball, able to pick it up. Just working into the feet of Lee Evans. Evans, who made 60-odd appearances for Wolves, actually played in the Wolves side that won at Anfield in the FA Cup back in 2017. Playing against his old club tonight, and has the captain's armband in the absence of Sam Morsey. Wolverhampton-born midfielder would love to have taken some part in this game against the club where he began his professional career. 10 minutes in, 1-0 to Wolves, and good value for him. Bentley playing it forward, Hwang retreating into the feet of the blonde-haired Doyle in the midfield. Out to the left for Hugo Bueno. Totti, Portuguese centre-half. Back to his goalkeeper. Bentley's clearance. Headed down by Evans, returned by Doyle. Kalajic going up for it, but his was the last touch. Out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Ipswich right.
That's an option for Wolves, isn't it? The ability to go from back to front early, because Kalajic is 6'5", 6'6", decent in the air, and his hold-up play's good.
Now we've got more live Carabao Cup action tomorrow night, and again we'll bring you a choice of games here on the TalkSport network. Arsenal's trip to Brentford, live on TalkSport. It's Liverpool-Leicester on TalkSport 2. Good strong running towards the edge of the penalty area from Hutchinson, who was fouled. And the yellow card is brandished in Traore's direction by referee Barrett. There's a really good strong run from Mari Hutchinson. And a free kick that will be taken by Ipswich, about 10 yards outside the box, marginally right of centre.
He's the type of player that gets fans on the edge of their seats. So positive, wants to run at players, he's improving all the time, his work rate's been good, there's a willingness to improve and learn. He's really relishing the opportunity to play first-team football.
So Boubacar Traore, the first player to have his name taken, the Malian international midfielder. I reckon Ipswich have nicked a yard or two where they've spotted this down and maybe moved it into a slightly more central position as well. Hutchinson, who's just scored the one goal in this loan spell so far, the winner at Southampton recently. He stands over this. Might be a left-footed shot from him. It could be a right-footed shot from Lee Evans. Wolves have got 5 in the wall, and Hwang lying down behind the wall. In the draft excluded position. He's holding his head, he's holding his breath, holding everything. Who's it going to be? It's Hutchinson straight into the wall, and then back from Evans. Oh, he struck that brilliantly, but it was into a central area, and Bentley, although he won't have seen it until relatively late, made a quite comfortable save.
Yeah, straight at him. I mean, it wasn't a great free kick from Hutchinson right into the middle of the wall. It bounced nicely for Lee Evans, 25 yards out. He caught it sweetly, really sweetly, but straight at the goalkeeper.
So in the League Cup so far tonight, Wolves leading here at Ipswich. Mansfield 1, Peterborough 0. A goalless everywhere else. Don't forget Manchester United against Crystal Palace. Live for you over on TalkSport. That game kicks off in a couple of minutes' time. Hwang Hee-chan for Wolves, the goal scorer. Getting to the byline, winning another corner off the retreating Edmondson, who pushed out a left foot to block the cross. And this is a corner that will be taken on the Wolves' left-hand side. A couple of goals of note in the National League, where Solihull Moors have had a good start of the season. They're a goal up at Hartlepool. York Lee Barnet, many people's favourites to win the division, with a goal from Deepo Akinyemi. In fact, Barnet have just equalised in that game through Harry Pritchard. Bayern Munich in action tonight as well, away to Preußen Münster. It's a cup tie. Eric Choupo-Moting has given them an early lead. Wolves who lead this one with a corner from the left flank. In from Doyle, took a touch from Edmondson, flashed across the 6-yard box. Nobody got another touch, and it goes out for another corner.
Well, that was decent delivery. Whipped in, real pace, right along that 6-yard line. Edmondson did well just to get a slight touch.
Sarabia going out to take this latest corner for Wolves. And they got Kalajdzic towering over everybody inside the 6-yard box. They've got a quintet in old gold and black, now making runs from the edge of the area in towards the near post. What a save! Nothing that can be done about the follow-up as Toddy bundles it in for 2. Brilliant save from Clarke in vain. He palmed the initial header down, only 2 yards out, and Totti was there to lash it into the net. Only his second Wolves goal. What a start they've made. 15 gone. In form Ipswich 0. Out of form Wolves 2.
Yeah, all about the delivery. I said the previous corner was a wicked one. Whipped in with real pace along the 6-yard line, 6-yard box, and this one is exactly the same. Marking's not great. It's zonal across that 6-yard line, and there's blockers trying to stop the runners. They don't do a good enough job. Totti gets a free header. It's a fabulous save actually from Vladke. He can do nothing about the rebound.
And Totti there to bundle it in. So 1 goal for him in his first season with Wolves. A rare start for him tonight, and he's on the score sheet already. And Ipswich with work to do. 15 minutes in, trailing by 2 goals to 0. Jackson losing out. Remember, this is an Ipswich side who won 12 of the last 13 games here at Portman Road in all competitions. The solitary exception being that extraordinary 4-3 home defeat to Leeds United. They've had a 4-3 win here since against Blackburn at the weekend. Portman Road seeing 21 goals in 4 home games in the league so far this season, and 2 in the very early stages tonight. And Wolves try and get it forward again. Traore's been fouled, and that's going to be a yellow card for Lee Evans.
Yeah, late challenge, Lee Evans. And again, the referee's in a really good position to see it. Bad tackle, was a yellow card offence. They just looked really sharp, Wolves, in the opening 15 minutes or so. They've been the better side, deservedly ahead in the game.
2 up here. Mansfield 1, Peterborough 0. Burnley a goal up at Salford. Sam de Berge getting that goal. Salford 0, Burnley 1. Manchester United against Palace underway. Live for you over on TalkSport. If you've got the TalkSport app, it's very easy just to flick between the 2 live games and keep up to date with all of the action. Wolves out to Matt Doherty making his way down the right-hand touchline. The furthest advance of the Wolves players. Low ball into the near post. Deflection off Williams took the pace out of it. And Clarke's able just to pounce on the loose ball inside the 6-yard box and make the save. 17 minutes in, and Wolves are 2-0 up.
Yeah, just have a look at the touchline. Kieran McKenna is shaking their head. He's not happy with the way his team have started the game. Wolves have been, I think it's too easy for them to get down the channels. Ipswich have really struggled to defend the wide areas. Hwang on the left-hand side has been lively. Matt Doherty's got in plenty of times down the right as well. I think they've got into those wide positions far too easily for Kieran McKenna's liking.
Bentley getting it forward. Ipswich returning it. Ladapo coming back from what might have been an offside position. Play allowed to go on when the ball didn't end up at his feet anyway. Hugo Bueno just caught by Harness, not an awful lot in it. But he was fouled on the halfway line, and it's a free kick which will be taken by Wolves, leading 2-0 with Hwang scoring on 4 and Totti on 15. And as I mentioned, we've got a choice of games for you tomorrow night as well. Arsenal at Brentford, live on TalkSport. Liverpool, Leicester on TalkSport 2. Neither of those games on the box. They're both here with the build-up beginning at 6 here on TalkSport 2, then from 7 over on TalkSport ahead of 7:45 kickoffs in both of those. It's Brentford Arsenal on TalkSport, Liverpool Leicester here on TalkSport 2 tomorrow night. And we'll have first news of the draw for the round of 16, the 4th round of the League Cup as well. Those games will take place in about a month's time. Wolves at the moment looking as though they're going to be aside from this particular tie that will be going through. Did make it through to the quarterfinals last season when they lost the penalty shootout to Nottingham Forest. Wolves on the front foot again, level with us about 10 yards inside the half that Ipswich are defending. Crossfield ball from Traore just sails over the head of Doherty, and out of play for a throw that will be taken by Brandon Williams on the Ipswich left-hand side. It's Ipswich 0, Wolves 2, and here's the former Republic of Ireland international captain Matt Holland.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Pablo Sarabia and the positions that he's picking up. He's been given pretty much a free license to float around, get on the ball as much as possible, and he's causing Ipswich problems with his movement.
Jackson trying to get on the right-hand side for Ipswich, just couldn't control it. Runs out of play for a throw that will be taken by Bueno. Sarabia's disappointed the Wolves fans by and large. When he's good, he can be really good, but it's just been a little bit too inconsistent. Maybe harder for him to have that free roll and the license to roam in games against Premier League opposition, but he ripped it up in the last round against Blackpool where he had 3 assists. Just in possession here as he's laid it out towards Johnny.
I think that's just evidence of the ability that he's got to roam around. He's just picked that ball up in the right back position. And he's not sticking to one place, which is making it difficult for Ipswich to get close to him.
And Wolves got another free kick, and it's another free kick that's been given away by Evans. Just got to make sure that he keeps a lid on it. Lee Evans, who started all of the League Cup ties this season, only seen 1 minute of league action up to this point. Player that Wolves signed from Newport County as a teenager back in the day. Santi Bueno, one of the Wolves' most recent signings, now finding Totti. Now for Hugo Bueno. Roll down the left-hand touchline. A little bit too easy for Hwang to get in the position to deliver across, but that one didn't find his target. Hit Edmondson, and Ball will be able to bring it away. And Taylor almost caught in possession by Kalajdzic, but loose ball goes through for the Ipswich goalkeeper Kalanke. 2-0 Wolves.
Yeah, that's that channel I was talking about, how Wolves have found it too easy to get down the side of Ipswich. Hwang actually was really close to Kalajdzic and just pointed down to the channel, the available channel, and he's too quick for Don Ball. I mean, Don Ball's a midfielder really. He's filling in at the back, but he's really struggling against Hwang's pace.
He's got a bit of cup pedigree. Don Ball, he played in the Scottish League Cup final back in his Aberdeen days. Actually got himself sent off in a Scottish Cup semi-final as well, but he's had that big game experience. He has it again here, the Ipswich number 12. Playing it back behind square for George Edmondson, another player who hasn't played in the league yet this season. Wolves turning over possession again. Kalajdzic, it was a vital foot in the midfield from the retreating Baggott that got it back to his goalkeeper and denied Kalajdzic the opportunity to get a shot in. But Wolves impressive so far. They now give a free kick away as Johnny fouls Hutchinson. It's a free kick that Taylor will look to take quickly for Ipswich, who trail here by 2-0 on TalkSport 2. The 2023 Ryder Cup tees off in Rome on Friday. Delighted to say we've got full commentary here on TalkSport 2 from 6 a.m. as Europe look to win back the trophy. Our top team also building up to the event with a daily preview show here on TalkSport 2 every evening. We'll be hearing from all of the players involved. It's a Ryder Cup live on TalkSport 2. League Cup action on TalkSport 2 tonight. Ipswich trying to get forward, and the ball just going into the side netting via a little touch from the right hand of Bentley. A well-struck shot. Right shake of the head from Taylor. Disappointed that he couldn't beat the goalkeeper, but it is an Ipswich corner. Yeah, it is. He actually made a brilliant run over the top, breaking from midfield beyond his strikers into the space, which Wolves didn't track. And he eventually got the shot away as well, but it was his movement that got Ipswich on the front foot. Hutchinson will take this corner. It is Ipswich's first of the game, coming midway through the first half. Looking for a near post flick. It was an easy defensive header by Hwang to get it away. Ipswich pick it up in centre of midfield. Nice ball down towards the right hand side for Jackson. Baggett still forward from the previous set piece, and then wins the seconds, heading it forward for Jackson. He's offside, and it's going to be a free kick that will be taken in the Wolves left-back position.
I was about to say that Ipswich haven't got Jackson in the game at all. A feature of a lot of their good play this year is utilising the width. Wes Burns down the right-hand side, Leif Davis down the left-hand side. We haven't seen Caden Jackson on the ball at all in the early stages of the game. We've just not been able to find him.
Second goal for Burnley at Salford. Doesn't look as though the shock is going to be there tonight. Jakob Brun Larsen has scored that, and it's Salford 0, Burnley 2. And Middlesbrough have taken the lead at Bradford. Emmanuel Latilath, the Ivorian striker. Middlesbrough's new number 9. Bradford 0, Middlesbrough 1. Mark Hughes' men trailing to a side of only won 1 out of the last 8 league games. Bradford themselves unbeaten in 6, but still mid-table in League 2 after the start of the season, but trailing Middlesbrough by a goal to 0. That means that the League Cup tie is looking like this at the moment. Bradford 0, Middlesbrough 1. Exeter against Luton 0-0. Wolves 2 up here. Mansfield 1, Peterborough 0. Port Vale against Sutton 0-0. Burnley 2 up at Salford. And Manchester United against Palace, which is live for you right now from Old Trafford over on TalkSport, is 0-0 with 9 minutes gone. All the others 7:45 kick-offs, and we're in the 25th minute here at Portman Road in Suffolk. Wonderful football stadium this. Must admit I haven't been here for some time. It's great to see Portman Road as vibrant as it is, albeit the home side have struggled to make any type of impression tonight. Hwang certainly has done that for Wolves. He's been a marked man. He's been fouled 3 or 4 times and just has been again there by Harness. And it's a free kick that Wolves will take in the centre of midfield.
Yeah, Wolves have been impressive. They really have. Right from the off, they've been sharp, directing their passing. They've moved it quickly. I'll tell you who's impressed me as well, Traore in midfield. His work rate, his energy, his quality on the ball as well. He's a player with real potential.
Yeah, Boubacar Traore scored the winner against Leeds in the League Cup last season. That's the only Wolves goal he scored so far. Still shy of 50 senior games in his club career, only just. But plenty of miles left in his legs, and he's had a good start. Here's Doyle, played forward. It's returned well, but just ahead of Ladapo. As Edmondson stepped up from the defensive line, side-footed it forward. Perceptive ball between the lines, but Ladapo couldn't roll Sandy Bueno to be able to get on the end of it.
He was a little on his heels, actually, Freddie Ladapo. I don't think he was expecting that pass at all. He was a little bit late to react.
Now Wolves will pump it forward, but Ball read the situation very well for Ipswich. Taylor's then fouled. No, he's not. Referee says there's no foul by Traore in the midfield. Not how the crowd saw it. Doyle then gives it away. And an opportunity for Ipswich to be able to break forward. Brandon Williams making a run on the overlap. And he's been played in by Hutchinson. Ball inside the penalty area. Coming to meet it was Jackson. Covered a lot of ground. Hugo Bueno went with him every step of the way to clear it. And then Traore with another really well-timed challenge on Hutchinson near the edge of the penalty area. Wins it back for Wolves. And here they come on the counter-attack. Leading 2-0 but hungry for more. Hugo Bueno with a couple of step-overs. Another couple to try and beat Ball. Great ball inside the penalty area. Wonderful shape on it. Baggett heads it away. And it goes out of play for a throw. But that was a really good delivery.
20 seconds ago, you were talking about Hugo Bueno tracking Caden Jackson all the way into his own penalty area to make the challenge. Did it superbly. 20 seconds later, we're talking about him taking on his man and whipping a delightful ball into the Ipswich box. He's got some energy.
Oh, he's a player. He's only 20 years of age. He made his debut for the Spanish under-21s earlier this month. And I think Wolves have got a very, very good player in Hugo Bueno. He's got possession now. Laid back towards the halfway line for Doyle. Doyle for Totti. Totti just slowing things down. Wolves have earned the right to do that early in the game, leading by 2-0. Totti scoring the second. Hwang Hee-chan with his 4th of the season, Wolves' leading scorer and netting the first. Totti, Traore, back for Dan Bentley. Bentley down to Totti again, playing out from the corner of the penalty area into the feet of Hwang. Back for Doyle. Doyle first time ball for Gladkey. Saw the danger, came a long way to meet it, and then plays it forward some 40 yards. Ipswich win the seconds. Good little reverse ball. Hutchinson is in. The angle's time. Oh, it's a magnificent finish from him to get Ipswich back in the game. He's drilled it near post, and it's taken a kind little kiss off the inside side of the post to beat Dan Bentley. It's Ipswich 1, Wolves 2.
There's no doubt he's been Ipswich's liveliest player. He's been really positive when he's picked up possession. But I'm just going to go back to the very start of that move for the goalkeeper, Václav Plagky, and his starting position. Absolutely brilliant. It was his ball into the middle of the pitch, which eventually released Amari Hutchinson. He drives it past Dan Bentley's near post. His movement's excellent, coming from that left-hand channel across his man and drives it into the back of the net to give Ipswich some life.
Such a well-taken goal by Hutchinson. The 19-year-old, just the second goal of this loan spell, only the 5th senior goal of his career, but I think the other 3 all came in the EFL trophy. And Kieran McKenna's man back in the game, still they're chuntering away to himself on the edge of the technical area. But a little bit of life in Ipswich. I think Wolves have still been the better side over the opening 29 minutes, but probably a 1-goal advantage is a fairer reflection, really, Matt, of what we've seen.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think Ipswich have been shocked at the quality of this Wolves team. I mean, Wolves have made 10 changes themselves. But Ipswich, when they've made their 10 changes against the likes of Reading and Bristol Rovers, it hasn't been a problem. But when you step up a level, when you go and come up against Premier League opposition, it's different. I think Ipswich were shocked early on at the pace that Wolves were playing at. They've managed to find a way back into the game now. A wonderful goal from Amari Hutchinson, who's looked lively at the start of this game.
And the National League, Oldham lead at Kidderminster 1-0, Chesterfield a goal up at Rochdale. And Burnley are now 3 up at Salford. There was that third, they did score a third one. It may have been disallowed. No, it hasn't. It is Salford 0, Burnley 3. So the fairy tale for Salford after that brilliant penalty shootout victory against Leeds in the previous round. Looks to be over already potentially. Wolves trying to get the ball forward here. Bagger got a shout and trusted his goalkeeper. And he was under pressure to clear it, and he left it. And Blackie comes out and makes the save. Well, it's been half an hour of football that has raced by here on TalkSport 2. Hugely entertaining. Wolves ahead for all but the opening 3.5 minutes, but a little bit of jeopardy back in the game now after that goal from Amari Hutchinson. Ipswich work it forward here, and Jackson's offside. That'll be a free kick that Wolves will take about 15 yards inside their own half.
It's the sort of game that the Ipswich fans have become used to seeing at Portman Road, end to end, giving up opportunities, giving up goals, but scoring plenty themselves.
Dara O'Shea, incidentally, the scorer of that Burnley goal. Salford 0, Burnley 3. Oh, the goalkeeper, well, the offside flag has come up to spare his blushes. He was worked forward by Wolves there. Flagkey came out. Wang had nudged it round him. Flagkey was beaten, but the flag is up, and it's a free kick that Ipswich will take just outside their own box.
Yeah, he was offside. Don Ball stepping up, using his experience, a couple of yards offside.
Here come Ipswich again, down the left-hand side. Space for Jackson. In the penalty area, it's Ladapo. Right-footed effort, and Bentley was scrambling. Threw a right hand at it. And it beat his hand, but it beat the bar as well. But it's been a good response. Last 6-7 minutes have been Ipswich's best of the game.
Yeah, they have. It's typical when you go 2-0 down against quality opposition. But they found a way back into the game, and they're starting to go through the gears.
Clearance from Bentley. Kaladzic having his shirt pulled by Edmondson. Loose ball picked up in the midfield by Traore, and he'll take a touch and then nudge it away from the impressive Hutchinson, who's arguably been the pick of the Ipswich players so far tonight. Traore playing it back for Johnny. Johnny across the defensive line. Toddy nudging it forward. Doyle linking up the play very neatly with Hugo Bueno. Doyle back for Hugo again. And now Toddy to Santi Bueno, who signed an £8.5 million deal from Girona in Spain. As the offside flag is up, the long ball pumped forward, and Doherty himself, having had a recent spell in Spanish football, back at Wolves and offside, then given away over on the Ipswich right-hand side by Hutchinson. Kaladzic, Traore getting it out from underneath his feet. Can he get into a shooting position? He can't. Taylor ensured that he couldn't. Hutchinson then won a 50-50. Ladapo tried to hold it up, and he's been given a free kick with Santi Bueno literally holding Ladapo up. Now it's a free kick that Ipswich will take inside their own half.
That's a chance for Traore on the edge of the box to pull the trigger, decline the opportunity, and turn back into traffic. and Ipswich were able to get back on the attack themselves.
Equaliser for Peterborough at Mansfield. Elsewhere in the League Cup tonight, Johnson Clark-Harris, the Posh's leading scorer, 5th of the season. Peterborough unbeaten in 4, Mansfield unbeaten in all 11 games this season, and that one is 1 apiece. This one, Ipswich 1, Wolves 2. And the ball out of play for a throw that Brandon Williams will take. Williams on loan here, had a previous loan spell in his career up the road at Norwich. The Dapo, back to the edge of the area, oh, good save. Bentley just, I thought, got a hand to it to help Evans' effort over the bar. Struck it really sweetly. It has been given as a goal kick. He must just have withdrawn his hand underneath the flight of the ball at the last moment, but he struck it with real ferocity there, Evans.
He's a very technical player, Lee Evans. We've already seen one strike on the half volley with his right foot straight at the goalkeeper. This one with his left from a similar distance. I think he thought it was a corner as well.
I thought Bentley thought it was a corner, but nothing given, and the goal kick is played forward towards Kalajic, who's done well under duress from Edmondson to control the ball with his back to the direction of play, then turn, lay down for Hwang back for Hugo Bueno. He'll find Totti, who played across the defensive line for Santi Bueno. We've got 2 live Premier League games coming up for you this weekend. Game day exclusive coming from Villa Park, where Brighton can temporarily move level on points at the top by beating Aston Villa. Free kick goes Ipswich's way. Ladapo fouled on the edge of the D. And this is a really good opportunity for Ipswich to get themselves back on level terms.
Yeah, make a mistake from Totti actually inside his own box, striking a clearance against an Ipswich player. And Ipswich's press is good, committing bodies and high up the pitch and in number as well. They've won a free kick in a dangerous position.
There was a shove from Santi Bueno as Ladapo wanted the ball into feet after that error played into him by ball, and there wasn't too much contact by Santi Bueno, but as soon as Ladapo felt it, he made sure the referee realised it had happened.
Looks like Amari Hutchinson has placed the ball again. His last free kick wasn't great, but he's the goal scorer for Ipswich tonight, and despite his young age, he's taking responsibility. Some of the senior players who understand and watch. Lee Evans alongside him as well. He might fancy it, but it's Amari Hutchinson that spotted the ball.
Dan Bentley has crouched down at the foot of his left-hand post to make sure that the 5-man wall's in the right place, and he's now crouched by his right-hand post to make sure that he's happy that that angle is covered as well. Is it going to be Hutchinson again with his left foot? Yes, it is. Left-footed, and Bentley needed to get his hand to that. No doubt that he helped that one on its way over the bar and out for an Ipswich corner.
Yeah, better effort from Hutchinson, hitting the target and asking a question of Bentley, but it's, again, very close to the goalkeeper and a save you'd expect him to make.
Over on TalkSport, Manchester United lead Crystal Palace by a goal to nil. Here on TalkSport 2, Wolves 2-1 up at Ipswich. Ipswich corner taken short. Hutchinson trying to dink it in, and they'll do it all again after a diving header knocked it away by Doherty. And out for Ipswich's 3rd corner. 3 corners behind Wolves at one stage. So flag kick count level now at 3 apiece. It's Alejandro Garnacho that has scored that Manchester United goal. Man United 1, Palace 0, live for you right now over on TalkSport. Ipswich take this corner short, tried to work it across the edge of the penalty area. To get ball into a shooting position, didn't come off. Ipswich turning it over though with Williams. Williams given the little opportunity to be able to get on the return ball on the outside of Hugo Bueno. Hutchinson sold him short. Williams let him know. Ball's out there for an Ipswich throw. 8 minutes to go to the break. In a thriller here in Suffolk tonight. Ipswich 1, Wolves 2.
It's absolutely flown by. I'm looking at the clock. 37 minutes gone. Doesn't feel like that.
No, this has been a great game. Ball down the Ipswich right-hand side for Jackson. Trying to take on Totti. Scorer of one at the moment is the winning goal for Wolves, who's cleared it. Out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Ipswich right-hand side. With a multi-ball system, throws taken really quickly. Harness couldn't find the pass, and Wolves will be able to bring it away. Kalajic just got frustrated. The ball had got over the line, and he gave Edmondson a little shove. Play goes on, throw taken quickly. Finding Evans to Baggett. Elkin Baggett, who had loan spells at Gillingham and Cheltenham last season, another that's have come through the ranks here at Ipswich, only 20. Williams, good ball, down the left-hand side of the area. Ladapo turning, trying to get away from Sandy Bueno, who was able to block the shot when it came in. It loops up and goes down towards the touchline. Ipswich let it run out of play for a throw that Jackson is keen to take quickly. And then throws it in towards Harness. Harness, oh, good ball into the field of Ladapo! 2-2. And they've come back from 2 down with 2 goals in the space of 10 minutes. Defensive errors from Wolves, but punished emphatically. Ladapo hitting it right-footed. Bentley might have done better, got a strong hand to it, could only help it onto the inside netting. And Wolves have blown a 2-0 lead. Ipswich 2, Wolves 2.
Well, Kieran McKenna's shake of the head at 2-0 down has turned into big smiles with this response. Dan Bentley will think he should have done better. Spills it through his arms, but it's excellent play from Ipswich. Freddie Ladapo had a chance moments ago and probably had too many touches. This time he doesn't. One touch, sets himself and gets his shot away. Caught the goalkeeper by surprise. He should have done better. Couldn't keep it out. Ipswich are back in it.
4 in 4 for Ladapo, who scored at Reading in the second round. He got a couple of goals against Cardiff as a substitute. And he's got it dead level again. Ipswich 2, Wolves 2. It was never likely to be dull. Let's face it, with 21 goals in 8 halves of football here at Portman Road this season, but we've seen 4 in the first half here, and it's not over yet. Baggett will be able to bring it forward for Ipswich. And he's done well to work in between the lines for Hutchinson. Hutchinson with the crossfield ball. Hugo Bueno just able to poke it away from Harness, and Baggett, his goalkeeper. And Bentley, the Wolves skipper for the night, can clear. Wolves will pick it up again in the midfield. Doyle. Ladapo. Chance for Jackson to take it on. He couldn't quite bulldoze his way past Totti. And it's cleared to halfway, where Baggett will win it back for Ipswich. 5 minutes to go to half-time. Ipswich 2, Wolves 2. And where's it gone wrong for Wolves? The odd defensive error, 2 well-taken goals, goalkeeping error as well. But over the last 15 minutes, Ipswich have had a dominance that they've had at no previous time match. So how does Gary O'Neill address that in the half-time interval?
Start of the game, they moved the ball really quickly, really sharply, and Ipswich weren't able to get close to them. I think they've had too many touches at times and allowed Ipswich to press higher up the pitch. I think Ipswich have stepped on 10 yards and started to win the ball back in Wolves' own final third. And I think that's where it's gone wrong for them. I've got to say, it's been a brilliant response from Ipswich. You want entertainment, come to Portman Road. That's where the goals are.
Wang, offside as he tried to control the ball that was fired forward. It actually hit the back of his shoulder, but he did really well to react. Flag up, and he indicates to the Wolves bench just how close he thinks he was to being onside there. 3.5 minutes to go to half-time. Ipswich 2, Wolves 2. Hwang and Totti for Wolves inside the opening 15 minutes. Hutchinson on 28, Ladapo on 39 to get Ipswich back to 2 apiece. Ipswich's last win against Premier League opposition against Arsenal here, back in the first leg of the semi-final in 2011. It's the furthest they've ever gone in this competition. Thomas Prishkin got the goal. They lost the second leg 3-0. The last time that Ipswich actually had a cup victory against the Premier League side and knocked them out in the process was against West Brom earlier in that run. A Grant Leadbitter penalty saw them through here in a quarter-final tie that same season back at the back end of 2010. Ipswich losing each of the last 7 ties against Premier League sides in the Cup, but they're back on level terms in this one. 2-2 in another Suffolk thriller. Gladkey played forward towards the halfway line for Baggett. Baggett goes into the feet of Lee Evans in the midfield. Back for Baggett again, waiting for a little bit of movement ahead of him. He turns and neglects to play the ball forward for Hutchinson. Goes back instead for Gladkey. Just sweeping up about 20 yards outside his own penalty area. Baggett. Exchange of passes between him and Hutchinson. Went back for the goalkeeper again. He's driven it forward right-footed as Manchester United lead Palace 2-0 now. Casemiro has got the second. It's like you over on TalkSport. Wolves trying to play it back. Oh, Kalajdzic nearly got in there. It's a back pass from Ball. It's going to be an indirect free kick. An indirect free kick to Wolves. Only about 9 yards, 10 yards out. Ball trying to nudge it back to his goalkeeper. Don't think he realised how close Kalajdzic was. Goalkeeper felt that he couldn't clear it with his feet because Kalajdzic might have got there first, so he pounced on the ball, and the referee said, well, that's handball. An indirect free kick for a deliberate back pass.
Yeah, he underhit the back pass, Don Bull, I think deliberately, so that Hladky could come onto it and clear it with his feet. Kalajdzic closed him down really quickly, and he felt that he had to try and put his hands on the ball, which he has done. But in doing so, I mean, it's a good decision, isn't it, from the referee? It's the absolutely correct decision he has. He's handled the ball and stopped Kalajdzic going through on goal, so and just slightly underhit it, Don Ball, but I think deliberately so that Hladky could come on and hit it first time.
There were cross purposes, and Wolves, as a result, have an indirect free kick. The Leicester spotted indirect free kick in the penalty area. I can't remember the last time I saw one of these. It used to be relatively common when the back pass rule first came in, and I'm showing my age now, 30 years ago, you saw quite a few of them. You see too many now. So Ipswich have got everybody back within 12 yards of goal. Harness stands by the penalty spot in case the ball is tapped square. All the other Ipswich players are back in the 6. It's a 5-man wall, which is only 3 yards off the line. It's going to be a yellow card shown, I think, here to Hwang, because his positioning has to be a certain distance away from that Ipswich wall, and it wasn't. The referee had warned him, and Hwang picks up a yellow card for failing to adhere to those instructions. And he's now pointing, saying, I'm entitled to be here. I don't think he is. I still think he's too close. There's only test the patience of the referee. Kalajdzic knocking it short, straight into the quintet of players. Ipswich survived, not the second ball away as well. And we go to 4 minutes of added time at the end of the first period, with Ipswich surviving a nervy moment. Wolves' execution of that indirect free kick really wasn't good.
No, it wasn't. The Wolves did its job for Ipswich, but it felt to me as though that was set for a right footer rather than a left footer. There was a slight touch and the left footer came on to hit it, but it looked more set and suited to a right footer.
And National League, Chesterfield League 2-1 at Rochdale. Manchester United, as I mentioned, 2 up at home to Palace. They're under 21s, 4-0 down away at Bolton coming up to half-time in the EFL Trophy. Half-time in this game, we'll run through all of the scores for you in the National League, the EFL Trophy, as well as the EFL Cup tonight. This one has been brilliant, so absorbing. 2-2. Wolves trying to end the first half on the front foot. Kalajdzic playing it down to Sarabia on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Back he goes from him for Hugo Bueno. He in turn goes behind square, right-footed ball swept. Oh, Doyle playing a great ball in that Williams elected to play. It looked as though he was going to go out of play for a goal kick, but he clearly didn't get a shout. He scuffed it, and it almost fell for a Wolves man inside the penalty area. Ipswich frantically scramble it clear.
I think that's a great word, frantic. That's how you would describe this first period. This first half has been frantic, end-to-end stuff, fascinating watch, exciting, high tempo.
Hwang steps it in, just. They do well to react. Ball on the left-hand side, and it's drilled just wide by Sarabia, who came onto it and took it to the junction of D and penalty area on the left-hand side of the box and hit it across the face of goal and only just wide of the far post.
Great work from Hwang down the left-hand side again. He's been really dangerous for Wolves, finding Sarabia, drags it wide. I mean, this is 2-2 coming in at half-time. It could easily be 4-4. It's been that type of game.
And the Nations League women's game, incidentally, Netherlands 1, England 1, and Alessia Russo has just equalised for Sabrina Wiegman's side. Netherlands 1, England 1. They've got 16 minutes to go in that game in Utrecht. Doyle right back inside his own penalty area. Bentley will clear it. Kalajdzic coming to meet it. And Edmondson followed him every step of the way, and there was a clash between the two, and Kalajdzic, to his credit, has told the referee, I think you need to stop play. I think I've hit his head.
He did. I think he caught him with the elbow, actually. And he knew it as well, Kalajdzic. Edmondson went straight to ground. Fortunately, he is back on his feet.
He's going to be able to continue without the need for treatment. Well, it's been a topsy-turvy affair. Wolves very good value for the lead that they had. We remarked when Hutchinson pulled one back for Ipswich that probably a one-goal advantage at that stage for Wolves was fair. By the time that Ladapo had equalised for Ipswich, parity was probably fair enough. Wolves ending the first half slightly the stronger of the two teams. 2-2 the score. We play 3.5 minutes of stoppage time. Probably another minute to go. Edmondson, who's okay after that bang to the head. Back to his goalkeeper. And a little 1-2 between him and Evans. And they've got it away and given it away. It's Traore. Traore working towards the edge of the penalty area. Swung in. Big chap, a handball, nothing given. Traore has it again. Right-footed ball flicked. Helped on by Johnny. First time in from Doherty. Off balance. And he sent a high spiralling ball out towards the far touchline, which just goes straight out of play for an Ipswich throw.
Yeah, a couple of times in the last 10-15 minutes, Wolves have been guilty of having too many touches around the edge of the box, and Traore has been one of those.
As the half-time whistle goes. And it's been a brilliant first half of football. There's been the odd error in there, but there's been 4 goals, rhythm of real quality, a couple of good saves, hugely entertaining fare, and a decent comeback as well from the Championship side against Premier League opposition. Ipswich 2, Wolves 2, man. The two teams are out. This is how they're lining up. Gladkey in goal. Ipswich and Wolves both playing a sort of kind of lopsided back 3, back 4, depending how you look at it. For Ipswich, back 4 of Ball, Edmondson, Baggott and Williams, Evans and Taylor, Jackson, Harness, Hutchinson and Ladapo up front. Wolves, Bentley in goal. Back 3 of Johnny, Sandy Bueno and Totti. Doherty on one side. Right wing back. They brought Aitnery on at left wing back for this second half, replacing Hugo Bueno. Traore and Doyle in midfield, and then Sarabia, Kalajdzic and Hwang up front. We're back underway for the second half. It's 2-2. And Ipswich with an early throw down in their own right back position after a clearance from Edmondson. Hit Hwang and goes out of play. In the Women's Nations League, England have conceded to Dutch substitute Renate Janssen in stoppage time. Netherlands 2, England 1 in that game in Utrecht. So England losing by 2-1. The World Cup finalists seemingly about to be beaten in that game. Hugo today with all of the goals domestically as they go in over the course of this second half. Ipswich on the front foot here. Harness, edge of the area, right-footed, and just took a deflection and then clicked the post on its way past and out of play for a corner.
Been a few mistakes now from Totti at centre-half. The Wolves giving the ball away cheaply again. And Ipswich capitalised. Jackson playing Harness in. He drives at the Wolves back line, and the deflection just takes it wide of Dan Bentley's post.
Corner, first of the second half, taken short by Ipswich on this near flank there, left, as they kick from right to left as we look at it. Williams winning a throw that Evans is going to leave for him to take. 2-2 the scoreline. Peterborough with the first goal of the EFL Cup second half's lead, 2-1 at Mansfield. And Man United 2, Palace 0's a half-time score. In comes the cross in towards Baggott. And it's just come off the top of the Indonesian's head and out of play for a goal kick that will be taken by Wolves. Dan Bentley, 2 goals in the second half, 2-2 on 2.
Elkin Baggott, another young player, learning his trade, learning under Kieran McKenna. It was impressive in pre-season. There was talk about whether he might go out on loan or not. He's still here and obviously playing in this competition still.
Yeah, another player that hasn't seen the light of day too often. It's only his 5th appearance for Ipswich tonight. A couple of loan spells last season, Gillingham and Cheltenham, particularly well at Gillingham. Here's Taylor. Taylor cutting inside the penalty area, laying it back outside the box for Hutchinson. Hutchinson with white sweatbands around each wrist. Back to Baggott. Baggott forced to retreat in his steps and playing Edmondson. And Edmondson will go all the way back to goalkeeper Clancy.
That was the best we've seen of Jack Taylor tonight, picking up the ball in midfield and taking his man on and driving into the Wolves box. He's a player that Kieran McKenna has wanted for quite some time. He was at the club 18 months before he eventually got that deal done, but he was a player that he was really courted by Kieran McKenna. Yet to see the best of him in an Ipswich shirt, but that was good from him.
It cost £1.5 million from Peterborough. Played against Ipswich and impressed on a couple of occasions last season. Wolves work it forward, trying to get Hwang into play. Aitnuri back for Doyle, and Doyle sending it across the defensive line. Johnny down towards Sarabia on the right hand side. Doherty in space. That's a great ball forward, but well read by the goalkeeper. Lucky coming right to the edge of the box. Movement that came across the edge of the penalty area from Hwang. Asked to move from outside left to inside right to try and get on the end of that, and just asked a little bit too much of him. 2-2 in the opening stages of the second half, in which Ipswich have already grazed the post, having come back from 2-0 down in the first half. Williams doing well, getting the better of Doherty, and forward come Ipswich again. Not a good ball from Hutchinson. They've been a collector's items, the mistakes that he's made tonight, but that was a good position squandered to try to get it out towards Jackson on the right and didn't find him. And Wolves can bring it away.
There's two sides that have looked really threatening in possession and look like they could score every time they go forward. The movement's been good as one makes another really good run over the top and Edmondson's read it well. But you've also got two defences who look susceptible and looks a little bit open at times. And both made mistakes at the back.
Wolves, by and large, in their games this season, certainly in the league games, nearly all of the goals have come in the second half. So tonight, something of an eyebrow raiser. They, in their league games, only had 2 goals this season in the first half. The second half of games, they've had 16, scored 5 and conceded 11. So the vast majority of goals in the Wolves games have come in the second half of matches. It'll be interesting to see if there are more in the second half of the first half of this one. We really are in for a pulsating encounter. 2-2 the score at the moment, and we're 5 minutes into the second period. Williams off balance turns it forward for Ipswich. Hutchinson couldn't control it, just ran away from him, not the best pass, and Doyle will get it back for Totti, now to Santi Bueno. Totti just indicates that Johnny Otto is on for him, but he's turned it the other way, over to the far touchline. Aitnuri back towards Totti again. Now Johnny to Doherty. And Wolves taking the opportunity to string a few passes together. Going back to the edge of their own penalty area for a moment. Santi Bueno forward. Hwang got himself in space, couldn't quite turn. Ipswich clear. Ladapo can't hold it up. Wolves having a spell of lengthy possession here. The last 3 or 4 minutes they've been stringing the passes together without really making any particularly noteworthy moves forward, but they've had a much more of a grip of the ball in the game. It's the trademark of the Gary O'Neill side that generally they tend to try and play. I don't think you can necessarily judge what you saw of Gary O'Neill's Bournemouth team last year in a possession context as to how he wants the side to play. Ipswich will want it back now, and they'll be brisk in getting it forward here. Ladapo to Hutchinson, Williams and Hutchinson just go for the same ball from moment. Williams taking charge in towards the deep edge of the penalty area. Taylor let it go, but Harness couldn't get him behind, and then Hwang is going to be able to pick it up on the Wolves' left. He'll be able to turn away from ball. That's a great ball for good run from Sarabia. Ipswich's back line backing off quickly. Goalkeeper back inside the 6-yard box. Sarabia wins a corner. Now Doherty arriving, making a near post run. He turned it back onto his left foot, sent a cross in, but it hit the nearest Ipswich defender and goes behind.
Didn't quite make the most of that, Pablo Sarabia, in that break for Wolves, because he had plenty of time and space as he went into Ipswich's box unopposed. In the end, a feeble cross came off the back of Brandon Williams. Yes, they've got a corner, but actually it could have been better for them.
Santi Bueno and Totti have both made their ways forward for this, as Port Vale take the lead against Sutton elsewhere in the League Cup. In comes this corner in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. A little brushed header, and it's taken a deflection off an Ipswich player and goes wide. Doherty, I think, the one that met it. And then he hit an Ipswich player in behind him and goes wide for another corner.
Yeah, they've looked a little bit susceptible to set pieces tonight, Ipswich, and the stats-wise would tell you that defending set pieces this season, they're one of 8 teams in the 92 that hasn't conceded a goal from a set piece so far this season. They did though, didn't they, in the first half, and they've looked really dangerous, the delivery from Wolves.
And this one has worked short. Aït-Nouri's got plenty of time to bend it inside the penalty area, not the best header. Baggett can turn it away. Sarabia back into the fray, and the goalkeeper will come out and claim it. Bradford 0, Middlesbrough 2. Morgan Rogers has added to Borough's lead 9 minutes into the second half of that game. Manchester United's under-21s getting a hiding tonight. Daniel Ndudu, the former Southampton striker, scored a 5th for Bolton. Bolton 5, Manchester United 0. Ndudu adding to the 4 scored in the first half there. Wolves on the front foot, 4 goals equally spread in the first half here, 2 apiece. Matt Doherty level the edge of the Ipswich penalty area, in towards Traore. Traore back for Doherty again, to Johnny pressurised by Hutchinson, racing out at him, but able to lay it back for Totti. Now he comes down towards the right hand side for Johnny once more. Doherty playing it in. Sarabia trying to turn. Baggett is in there and won it cleanly. Sarabia went down trying to buy a free kick, had the ball caught between his feet, and Baggett, entitled to try and get it away from there, did so. Ipswich works it back to their keeper, but a brisk clearance from Flackie goes out of play for a throw that'll be taken over on the Wolves' left.
Been a good start to the second half from Wolves, a more composed start, dominating the ball, dominating possession, finding themselves getting up the pitch quite easily. Hwang's movement has caused Don Paul a lot of problems in this game. Sarabi's just dropping into areas and getting plenty of space as well. And a good start to the second half for the visitors.
Yeah, Sarabia seeing more of it now, and he's just come to link up again. Back for Traore. Traore's ball out towards Aït-Nouri. Aït-Nouri sending one round the side of ball to Hwang. Hwang taking it on. Ball recovered well, but at the expense of another corner, and Wolves are having its fate of them now. England's women have lost that Nations League game, beaten 2-1 by the Dutch to that last-minute goal from Renate Janssen. 2-1 the full-time score there. This one 2-2, and Wolves have their 3rd corner of the second half, which is 10 minutes old here on TalkSport 2. Jim Bradford and the former Ipswich captain Matt Holland talking you through the action at Portman Road. Corner in with real pace, headed away by Lee Evans, and it bounces out towards the touchline and goes out for a Wolves throw. Doyle will take quickly. Back from him to Aït-Nouri, and then Doyle taking on again down the left-hand touchline, turning inside. Harness stuck out a foot and won it back. Hutchinson can bring it forward. He looked up, he only had Ladapo ahead of him, and plenty of retreating old gold shirts. Ipswich have maintained possession, but in doing so had to go back for Edmondson, and he's got nearly everybody ahead of him as he looks up. Sends it wide to his right for Ball. Space for Hutchinson, just dropping it in the midfield. Harness sends it forward. Ladapo can't get away from Johnny, who came across the cover. Wolves winning it back, snuffing out the danger. Ipswich struggling to make an impression in the early stages of this second half, as they did in the latter stages of the first.
Yeah, not had a kick really. Wolves have dominated the ball. Wide areas again, causing problems. Aït-Nouri as well has got forward well on that left-hand side, and Hwang's starting to come more central, joining Kaladzic, which is leaving that space for Aït-Nouri to run into.
Here's Matt Doherty on the other side for Wolves. The near touchline there, right, and he's made a great run forward. Sarabia's found him, angles tight, deflection, spinning it high up in the air off Baggett, and out came the goalkeeper to catch it.
What a block from Elkan Baggett. Matt Doherty found himself in the box, bearing down on the Ipswich goal. You're thinking he's just going to pull the trigger. Well, he does, but Elkan Baggett gets back from nowhere and makes a brilliant block.
There's a League Cup quarter-final in Scotland tonight. It's 1 apiece. Kilmarnock have just equalised at home to Hearts. Carl McGuinness for Killy, looking for a first win in 5 in all competitions against the Hearts side, who've lost 5 of the last 6. It's 1-1 at Rugby Park. Run through all the EFL Cup scores for you very shortly. This one's 2 apiece. Taylor poked down towards the Ipswich left-hand side by Hutchinson for Williams. Been really impressed with Amari Hutchinson. First time I've seen him in the flesh, and Ipswich have got a great player. I think Chelsea have got a good player come to that in the fullness of time. Back it comes from Brandon Williams. Will be taken on by Lee Evans, Taylor, right footed. Oh, what a goal! Just stunning hit from 25 yards out by Jack Taylor. Minimal backlift, got it onto his right foot, and he has lashed it past Dan Bentley. And Ipswich, who are 2 down after 15 minutes, are 3-2 up inside an hour.
What a hit. This is special from Jack Taylor. Half a yard, 25 yards out, gets it out of his feet and unleashes an absolute rocket past Dan Bentley. He manipulates the ball really well to find half a yard to get his shot away. It's moving in the air. Bentley gets maybe a slight finger to it, but it's past him in a flash. An absolute rocket from Jack Taylor puts Ipswich ahead. That is some hit.
Well, he scored on his debut against Bristol Rovers here in the first round, and he adds to it in the third round. And the camera just panned down actually to Kieran McKenna, who was looking over at a monitor replay, and he shook his head. Oh, it's a stunning shot. That is just a magnificent goal. And if we were critical of Bentley with Ipswich's second, that he got a hand to it and couldn't keep it out, he did well to get a hand to that. No chance of being able to stop that. That was the power that beat him. Taylor from 25 yards out. And is a magnificent finish from a man who's only a 1 goal every 7 games man in his career. Hwang's offside here. And it's a free kick which will be taken by Ipswich on the edge of their own penalty area. They've had a 4-3, a 3-4 and a 3-2 here this season. And this is 3-2. And it's only September.
And there's
could have a season ticket.
And there's less than an hour played. We've still got half an hour left yet. So there's plenty more to come. It's been a tough start to life at Ipswich for Jack Taylor. He's not found it easy because Massimo Luongo and Sam Morsey have been terrific.
Ipswich will try and bring it forward again, and the referee says no foul on Williams, who's still down in pain about 8 yards outside the Wolves penalty area, and play might have to stop here so that he can receive some treatment. Evans will put it out of play to allow that to happen, and he's down holding his left thigh. Hopefully from an Ipswich perspective it's just an impact injury. The referee thought it was a fair challenge on him. Haven't seen a replay as yet. Wolves are going to make a double change. Kalajic is coming off, having not really caught the eye tonight. Nathan Fraser, who scored on his debut in the previous round against Blackpool, coming off the bench. We'll hope to repeat that. An 18-year-old Irish number 9 or number 10. And he's going to come on to lead the line, you would imagine, wearing 63 for Wolves. Very tall 18-year-old. The other change they make is Sarabia's coming off, and he's going to be replaced by Mateus Cunha, the Brazilian international that they signed from Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, I mean, Gary O'Neill has to do something. He has to try and respond and find a way back into this game. They've made such a good start to the match, getting 2 goals ahead early on. But Ipswich have fought back, and now it's Wolves who've got it all to do. So, yeah, totally understanding wanting to freshen it up and make changes to try and get themselves back into it.
In the National League, Gates at 2 up at Oxford City. Dorking leading at Ebbsfleet by a goal to nil. Don't forget, at TalkSport Breakfast, Thursday and Friday, Alan Brazil, Ali McCoist, live from the Marco Golf and Country Club for the Ryder Cup in Rome. Who signed that off?
Think you'll see a ball hit?
Which of the two are you talking about? Yeah, I think Ali will see a ball hit, absolutely, definitely. And I think that Suffolk's finest Alan Brazil will as well. But it will be a good listen. Alan Brazil and Ali McCoist live from the Marco Golf and Country Club for the Ryder Cup in Rome, which we're bringing you on TalkSport 2 from 6 Fridays. Europe look to win back the trophy. Our top team building up to the event, a daily preview show on TalkSport 2 every evening. We'll be hearing from all of the players involved as well. Williams is okay, he's back on his feet, he's going to be back on the field in a moment. Wolves with a very temporary numerical advantage and a slightly rejigged team with Fraser leading the line. He'll chase after a long ball that's played forward. Cunha was closest to it actually, but Claggy is going to be able to pick it up. Williams comes back on for Ipswich. It's Ipswich 3, Wolves 2. There's 17 gone in the second half on TalkSport 2.
Some atmosphere as well, isn't it? For a cup tie, often you see smaller crowds, but this is a good turnout.
And Ipswich will come again. Ladapo trying to take on his man on the edge of the penalty area. Williams did well to win it back. Ladapo back in towards Hutchinson. That'll be cleared by the Wolves ballot. Should be by Doherty. Very nearly turned into trouble, but in the end he was able to use Johnny. They can get it away. Fraser trying to hold it up, knocked away from him by the impressive youngster Baggett. Now played forward by Williams, who thought he was fouled again. Hutchinson trying to take on Doherty. It's deflected off him. The Irishman can stop it going out of play for an Ipswich corner. And Wolves will bring it away and go back inside their own penalty area here for Tommy Doyle. Still half an hour's worth of playing time to go. We've seen 5 so far. On course for at least another 2, maybe 3. All of a sudden it's Ipswich looking the more likely, having taken the lead. Mateus Cunha's first involvement to try and swing the ball down the Wolves' right-hand side. Wang's come out of this near side. Now Sarabia's gone off. Unfortunately, another disappointing night for Sarabia. Yeah, it was. I mean, he saw a fair bit of the ball as well, and he's given a free rein really to roam about the pitch and get on it and try and create for them, but it was a timid display from him. Good turn by Hutchinson, spun his man, well read by Sandy Bueno, and the Wolves debutant gets it back for Bentley. Long clearance from him. Fraser is a real physical presence, very imposing, and not unlike Ferguson at Brighton really, in terms of being a young Irishman who's got a great physical prowess and leads the line in a manner way beyond his years. And he hasn't got the miles on the clock or the goals of Evan Ferguson as yet. I'm not saying he will end up as good as Ferguson, who I think is probably a 9-figure player in the making, but he's got a bit about him, Fraser, still quite raw. Ball been knocked away by Gladkey. And Edmondson goes out to the Ipswich Town right-hand side. 19 gone, second half. These are scores in the EFL Cup tonight. Bradford 0, Middlesbrough 2. Exeter 0, Luton 0. Mansfield 1, Peterborough 2. Port Vale 1, Sutton 0. Burnley 3 up at Salford. And live over on TalkSport, it's Manchester United 2, Palace 0 at the start of the second half. They only played 4 minutes of the second half there. Here's Baggett for Ipswich, who lead by the odd goal in 5, having been 2-0 down at one stage. Toddy claiming that was a handball. He might have had a case as well against Jackson. Referee didn't give it. Ball played forward down the Ipswich right. Ladapo chases after it. Toddy sweeps up, puts it out of play for an Ipswich throw. He's had a tough night. I know he scored, but he's made a lot of mistakes at the back, giving the ball away very cheaply. And in giving this throw away, it's an opportunity for Ipswich to get the blue shirts forward again, round the edge of the penalty area. Harness showing for him. The ball goes in towards Ladapo, who chests it down, but in doing so just presented it straight to Fraser, and it goes out of play for a throw. It is a much changed Ipswich side. It's something we talked about earlier, about the Sam Morsey suspended before the game at the weekend, when Ipswich got to Huddersfield. And I just wonder what your thoughts are, Matt, as to who you would expect to start in the centre of midfield for that game, alongside Massimo Luongo. If it's Taylor, does that mean that he might be coming off soon? Do you know, I've got absolutely no idea who will start, because Sam Morsey generally is the one that just sits in front of the defence, and that's more like Lee Evans, who's the skipper tonight in Sam Morsey's absence. So it could be potentially Evans that will start there, but either way, whether it is Evans or Taylor, I just wonder whether Kieran McKenna might be deciding that he's got to make a change just because he doesn't want his players playing Tuesday, Saturday. Ball goes out for a throw that'll be taken on the Wolves' right, chasing this game, trailing 3-2. Well, I think if he does make a sub and one of those comes off, then you're getting an indication as to which way he's going at the weekend. Doyle for Wolves in the midfield. Square for Johnny. Kidderminster have equalised under Oldham in the National League. Man United youngsters 6 down at Bolton now. Here's Swang, right side of the area. Ball in from him. What did that hit? Starting challenge from Baggett. Certainly, if it hit his arm, he didn't intend it to, and he put his arm down to break his fall. No VAR tonight. In the old days, you wouldn't have even remotely discussed that being a penalty, but handball rule as it is now, you never know. Seeing a replay, it might actually have hit his ribcage rather than his arm anyway. It has gone out of play for a corner, which will be taken on the Wolves' right. So 4th of this second half. Doyle's going to take it. It's going to be a right-footed away swing. Traore's in there. It's come close to him. Took a little nick in the near post area. Bounced once inside the 6 and then goes over the line out of play for a goal kick that Ipswich will take. We're midway through the second half. Ipswich 3, Wolves 2.
Wolves have looked so dangerous from those set pieces. Matt Doherty again getting across his man and wins the first header. And he's only 3 yards out. Just gets a slight flick on it, but wide of the far upright.
A bit of action on the Wolves bench, and change number 4 is going to see Fabio Silva brought on. They will change at half time, so that won't be their final change. Hutchinson trying to knock it forward. Totti just got his feet in the tangle for a moment. The referee thought he did so under duress and was fouled by Jackson. It's going to be a free kick that Wolves will take midway inside their own half, but only after Hwang is replaced by Fabio Silva. And if there was a Wolves player that needed a performance, it might be their number 9. Did score against Blackpool in the League Cup. His last Premier League goal was nearly 2.5 years ago, back in May 2021. 31 games in the Premier League without a goal. Loaned out to Anderlecht and PSV last season. Ipswich are going to make a triple change. Producer is imminent, tells me, thank you. It's triple change imminent for Ipswich. Fabio Silva given the first lost cause to chase. Tries to get that down the right-hand touchline, can't do so. So here comes the triple change. The first player to be replaced is Hutchinson, and Cam Humphreys is going to come on for him. Evans does come off. George Hurst will be his replacement, and Shoni Aluko is also going to come on, and he will replace Marcus Harness. So Evans, Harness and Hutchinson off. Aluko, Hurst and Humphreys on in a triple change for Ipswich.
Yeah. Freddie Ladapo's gone off, hasn't he, for George Hurst? Yeah,
they put the number 8 up to start with and changed it. Yeah, so it is Ladapo. So we are no closer to knowing what the team's going to be at the weekend.
Still Evans and Taylor in the middle of the pitch.
Well, that makes a lot more sense with Kieran McKenna. Correct me if I'm wrong. Invariably a manager that makes like-for-like changes. Not always premeditated necessarily. He'll look and see how a game is flowing, but he does like to use his bench and bring fresh legs on at this kind of stage of a game.
Yeah, he does. It's 70 minutes. It's probably a little bit later than he normally would do it, but because he often sees the game as a 60-30 game. The first 11 starting, play for 16, and the last half an hour the changes are made.
Doherty flashes across him from the Wolves' right. Fraser's quick and chases everything in towards that near post area. It was knocked away by Edmondson. Had to play for a throw. Will be taken on the Wolves' right-hand side. So that front line now for Ipswich, Aluko, Hurst and Humphreys. Hurst, whose father played in the final of this competition for Sheffield Wednesday 30 years ago, scored in the FA Cup final that same season. That was the year, you might remember, Sheffield Wednesday lost to Arsenal in both domestic cup finals. A big goal for Sutton United, Josh Coley. They've equalised at Port Vale. That's 1-1. Sutton, bottom of League 2. Back on level terms against the Port Vale side in the top 4 in League 1. Port Vale 1, Sutton United 1. Barnet 3-1 up at York now in a game that they originally trailed in the National League. Here Wolves trying to break forward inside the penalty area. Edmondson knocks it away. Aluko, very much at the veteran stage of his career now. The former Birmingham and Aberdeen and Hull player. Played a part in that whole run to the FA Cup final 10 seasons ago. Doherty getting the ball in here. That's deflected off Williams and out of play. It's another Wolves corner, and this is where they've looked at their most likely.
They have, and they're coming back strong again. Ipswich had a spell, went ahead and felt as though if any team was going to score another, it was going to be Ipswich, but Wolves have responded again, made a couple of changes themselves, and they're back on the attack, and another set piece for Ipswich to defend.
And live over on TalkSport right now, Manchester United lead Palace 3-0. Anthony Martial has scored the latest. 3-0 out of Manchester United. 3-2 here to Ipswich. In comes the corner from Doyle, and Fabio Silva with a touch, and somehow Gladkey is able to save as Bueno poked it towards goal. Fabio Silva heading it down, and Bueno was there stretching and couldn't divert it either side of the goalkeeper or react quickly enough.
He got it at the second attempt, didn't he? Flag kick. The header that came at him, bounced off him, but he was quick to react and then gathered. But it's another first contact that Wolves have won from a set piece.
Wolves are going to make their final change. Doyle will come off, and the Brazilian midfielder João Gomes, who scored at Southampton on his debut last season but hasn't scored since, is going to come on. So Wolves number 8 is changed number 5. 17 minutes of normal time to go. Ipswich 3, Wolves 2. And just to reiterate the situation, it is level after 90 minutes. It goes straight to penalties, no extra time, which I think is a good innovation. I must admit, I really like that. As a neutral, 3-2 Ipswich lead it. Wolves asking the more pertinent questions at the moment of the opposition defence. Edmondson's got it for Ipswich. 3-2, they lead, 17 to go.
I agree with you on the no extra time. In a time when managers are moaning all the time about the schedule, too many games, the added time often is 10-12 minutes at the end of matches. So I totally agree that to have no extra time is absolutely the correct call.
Crowd here tonight, not a sellout, 20,236, 1,900 odd come down from the Black Country for the game, and that's an endeavour and a trip on a Tuesday night. It has to be said. No chance of getting a train home. The ball from Doherty, back to Johnny turning it to his goalkeeper and be cleared by Bentley, right hand side of the penalty area, and by the way, good luck with the A12 as well. Johnny,
they'll go A14. That'll be worse.
Happy days. They'll be hoping that at least they've got something to celebrate for the journey in the cones. Ball over on the right-hand side for Wolves, Matt Doherty. And it'll be played for by him to Traore. Wolves have been the better side in the last 10 minutes, but it's a Jack Taylor stunner that has given Ipswich the lead by the odd goal in 5 here tonight. João Gomes has got it now. Takes it towards the edge of the centre circle, and then goes back inside his own half for Santi Bueno. What have you made of his debut, an £8.5 million signing?
I think he's done okay. I mean, I think he's looks more assured and composed than Totti alongside him.
Traore plays it forward. Silva retreats, wins it, takes it on, goes for the return ball, which wasn't forthcoming. Shot comes in from the edge of the penalty area, but Cunha has rifled it over the bar. Didn't get the power or the precision that Taylor did at the other end 20 minutes ago. And that's how to play for a goal kick that will be taken away to our right-hand side by Václav Klacki, the Czech goalkeeper. Played only 8 minutes of league football last season, and ever present this season has been very dependable in the absence of Christian Walton, who's had a fasciitis problem, but isn't too far away seemingly from a return to the Ipswich team. Cam Humphreys, another youngster who's come off the bench tonight, has been fouled. And the free kick will be taken by Ipswich in no great hurry to take it. 15 yards outside the Wolves penalty area. 3-2, here's Matt Holt.
Really talented player, Cameron Humphreys. Fabulous footballer. Really good attitude.
Only 19. One of a number of youngsters that we've seen from either side tonight. And it has, for all the fact that there were 20 changes, and maybe the odd heart sank when you saw the teams, we have been treated to an epic. It's been brilliant. Free kick here to Ipswich. If they were to get a 2-goal lead, you would imagine that might just about be job done. Evans will take this free kick. It's swung in very deep, too deep as it turned out. Fraser didn't get a shout to leave it, just did get a touch to it. Tried not to in the end, but it's brushed off his forehead. Goes out of play for an Ipswich ball. I think it's going to be yes, it is just a corner, which will be taken on the left flank. And again, they're in no discernible hurry to take it. This time will be added on. Humphreys eventually will trot across to take it. He's got the option of knocking it short for Williams. They then have an option of Evans unmarked near the edge of the penalty area. Looks as though it's going to be a direct delivery though from Humphreys, and away swinger. Bagnett's head went up for it. It went off at an acute angle to the right-hand side, but Jackson chasing it was offside. And it's a free kick the Wolves are in a hurry to take inside their own 6-yard box. And a game that we talked about over the course of the night, racing by has been so entertaining. All of a sudden, into its last 13 minutes of normal time.
It's incredible. It really has gone quick. I'm looking at the clock. I can't quite believe 77 minutes are on it. But it has been a really, really fabulous game of football.
Man United youngsters 7-1 down now at Bolton in the EFL Trophy. Altrincham leading at Maidenhead in the National League by a goal to nil. Gateshead 3 up at Oxford City, who've had a tough start to life in the National League, or very first National League campaign, having been promoted from the South last season. Ball's on a play for a Wolves throw, taken quickly over on the far touchline there left. They trail 3-2. There's an urgency now about everything they're doing to try and get back into the game. And Luco has done well to rob Joao Gomez of possession. Has he won a corner? Yes, he has.
That's a great press. And that's evidence of why Kieran McKenna makes those changes 60, 70 minutes into the game. Fresh legs, particularly at the top end of the pitch, to win the ball back in those types of positions.
Tomorrow night has a lot to live up to. Here on TalkSport 2, it's Liverpool-Leicester. On TalkSport, it's Brentford-Arsenal. Both games kicking off at 7:45, build up from 6. Here on TalkSport 2 and at 7 on TalkSport. Latest Ipswich corner, swung in towards the near post, looking for Hurst, half cleared, back into the fray on the edge of the box now. It claims that there should be a penalty. The challenge came on Humphreys. And Humphreys just got there first. It was a 50-50 on the edge of the box. Humphreys got there first. You could tell that was the case, but where the ball flew over the bar. And the challenge came in on him briskly from Fraser. Caught him. The referee says no penalty.
I think that was a natural collision. Personally, I think the referee was in a really good position to see it.
Jack Taylor wins it back in the midfield for Ipswich, finds Evans. Aluko down to the Ipswich left-hand side for Williams, who's got better as the night has gone on. Williams ball into Hurst. Hurst holding it up, couldn't find a man. Wolves bring it away, then give it away as a poor ball from Traore. Then a 50-50 ends up being a chase for Fabio Silva. Edmondson won the battle, had a significant head start. Gladkey calmly plays out from the back, and Ipswich will be able to bring it forward and find a Luco. Luco loses it in the centre circle. Traore winning it back. Cunha just loses out to Baggett, who dropped the shoulder, stepped up from the defensive line as he plays it forward in defeat. Hurst is offside, and Wolves have a free kick inside their own half, and there'll be another stoppage here because of another injury. One of the Ipswich players down inside the centre circle. Nothing serious, I don't think.
It was Jack Taylor, who was just caught when he was making that run in the centre of the pitch. Saw Kieran McKenna there, a little bit frustrated with George Hurst as well. Just onto the pitch, he gave the ball away, then he couldn't get himself back on side. Slow start to his time on the pitch.
Well, Ipswich are going to make a double change. They've made a triple, so this will be the end of the substitutions for the night. Coming on, Burns and Luongo. Taylor is the first player that is going to be coming off. And he gets a standing ovation. What a goal. That at the moment is sending Ipswich through to the round of 16, the fourth round of the League Cup, which is somewhere that they haven't been since the 2010-11 season. The other change sees Jackson replaced. So Taylor and Jackson off, Burns and Luongo on with 10 to go.
Yeah, all smiles, Kieran McKenna, and just gives Jack Taylor a pat on the head. Hopefully this will kick-start his Ipswich career. As I said, it's been a slow one. I know he scored against Bristol Rovers, but we've got an opportunity from the start against Southampton. Didn't play particularly well, came off in that game. May well have an opportunity to start again at the weekend against Huddersfield, but that goal should surely do his confidence the world of good. Some hit, if that is indeed the winner.
So Luongo has come on for him in the centre of midfield, and Burns has gone out and taken up Jackson's role on the right-hand side. Wes Burns, a Welsh international, really made his name with Fleetwood, and has pulled up trees here. Good ball from Cunha into the edge of the penalty area. Fabio Silva is in there lurking. The offside flag's up though, possibly against Fraser. It's a free kick that will be taken by Ipswich on the edge of the box. 8 minutes of normal time to go. Port Vale back ahead at home to Sutton. Port Vale 2, Sutton 1. Exeter of League 1 still holding Luton of the Premier League. That's 0-0 down in the West Country. Exeter haven't had a good week, but that would be a tremendous result if they can make it through to the last 16 of this competition. A side with a decent cup pedigree. Remember that game they had against Manchester United a few years back where they held them. Here's Shoni Aluko. Aluko, a little reverse ball inside the penalty area. Hurst with a shot on the turn that is blocked by Sandy Bueno. Ipswich winning it back in the midfield again. Evans has had a good night. Goes out to the right-hand side for Burns. Combination through the midfield with Williams just dropping into space, Baggett turning away very neatly, and then his ball forward telegraphs somewhat. Johnny read it. Mateus Cunha back in towards Johnny's path. Edmondson in there very strongly. Johnny's caught him. It's there to be won. I think it was just a genuinely mistimed challenge by Johnny. They're a little bit late. That might not have stopped it hurting though. And Edmondson is down and in need of treatment.
That was a great chance for Wolves on the turnover. Elkan Baggett out of position, gave the ball away. Credit to Massimo Luongo. He spotted it. The ball should have really come to Fabio Silva, but Massimo Luongo did brilliantly the central midfield to get himself back into Baggett's position and get around Fabio Silva.
I'm just mentioning Exeter City holding Luton. There has been a goal there, and they've scored it. Exeter 1, Luton 0. And the Premier League side 6 minutes away from going out to a side who, this time last week, lost 9-0 at home. Luongo winning it back for Ipswich. 6 to go. Ipswich 3, Wolves 2. Wes Burns on the Ipswich right-hand side wins another corner.
It's not looked like Wolves are going to get a goal to take this to penalties. They had 1 or 2 moments on the transition, but Ipswich are doing a really good job of seeing this out.
I just heard 20,000 Ipswich fans saying, why have you said that? Burnley 4 up at Salford. Burnley long since going through. It was Dimitri Mitchell, former Man United man, that scored that Exeter goal incidentally. In comes the Ipswich corner. Bounces outside the penalty area. Williams down to the left-hand side for Massimo Luongo. Back he goes for Brandon Williams again. Oh, Williams has done really well. Takes it on inside the penalty area. Little give and go, and Luco couldn't quite get the return ball to him. And the sliding challenge was rash and ill-advised by Luongo. And he escapes a yellow card for it. There's a free kick that will be taken by Wolves not too far outside their own penalty area. Their need increasingly desperate. 5 minutes of normal time remaining. And Wolves still 3-2 down.
Yeah, it was good play actually from Massimo Luongo. Recognised that Wolves were on the counter, brought his man down, and he's probably a little bit fortunate not to see a yellow card.
Now Wilson Odobert scoring that latest goal for Burnley. They will be through as things stand at the moment. Premier League Luton going out at Exeter. That'll be the big shock of the night. Premier League Wolves going out at Ipswich. Man United making it through comfortably enough. This is going to be a yellow card here for Shoni Aluko for a poor challenge, and he's then arguing with the fourth official Stephen Martin about the validity of the decision. But a free kick goes against Aluko and he's booked.
Kieran McKenna not happy at all. And I don't think anyone saw it. I think there's more the reaction of the player that has meant that Shoni Aluko has picked up that yellow card.
Ipswich 3, Wolves 2. Free kick taken by Doherty. An Ipswich side who lost against League 2 side Colchester, a local derby here last season, and eliminated from the League Cup, who came into tonight having won only 2 League Cup ties in 7 years before this season, but on the verge of a 3rd League Cup success of this campaign here, and against top flight opposition, which is something that they haven't managed to knock the top flight side out of the domestic cup since they beat West Brom in the quarterfinals here in 2010. And they're minutes away. Traore helping the ball out of the Wolves' left-hand side. Play forward in towards the feet of Fabio Silva. Here's Aït-Nouri. Aït-Nouri turning back in the midfield again to find Traore. Aït-Nouri angling it forward. Fraser trying to let it run. Edmondson possibly just got a little knock as he got that away. And then Burns goes down, and buys the free kick, which will be taken on the Ipswich right-hand side. There are 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, they've lost a bit of presence up top since Kaladzic went off. I know he didn't necessarily have his best game, but he's a handful backing into the two centre-backs. Nathan Fraser has looked a little raw up top, and Fabio Silva doesn't necessarily have the same presence either.
Ball play forward, Hurst flicks it on, it's going to go through to the goalkeeper. An interesting score as Bolton go 8-1 up against Manchester United youngsters. Luke Matheson has scored that, a player who once played in a Rochdale side that took Man United to penalties in this competition. Wolves signed him after an excellent season, didn't make the grade at Wolves, but now at Bolton, and he scored tonight, and they lead Man United's youngsters 8-1 with 5 minutes to go. Baggett picks up a yellow card, and it's a Wolves free kick on the right-hand touchline, 15 yards from the corner flag.
Yeah, a little bit of naivety from Elkan Baggett. Tried to win the ball in front of Fabio Silva, missed it, and then had to bring him down.
Well, this is a big chance for Wolves. Can they get an equalising goal to potentially take this game to penalties? Everybody, as you would expect, barring the goalkeeper, 4. 2 waiting on the edge of the penalty area. Everybody else inside the box. It's going to be Aitan Reid to swing this in. Left foot, he's taken a touch and then looped up. Fraser tried to get in there, but it fell then for Traore. He's tried the most optimistic shot imaginable on the turn and has fired it into the upper tier of the stand behind Gladkey's goal.
There's a nervous moment again for Ipswich. The ball flashing through that 6-yard box, but Traore on the turn. It was a really wild effort. Wasn't patient enough for the ball to come down.
Demi Mitchell of Exeter that scored the goal that has taken them to the brink of beating Luton has now been sent off. Exeter leading Luton 1-0, but down to 10 men with Mitchell, the goal scorer, dismissed for a second bookable offence. Traore bringing it forward for Wolves. Towards the edge of the area. Slips it into the feet of Mateus Cunha. Challenge on him and then by him. And the referee has given a free kick against him, which will be taken by Ipswich on the edge of their own penalty area. His reaction was one of real anger. And referee Sam Barrett has done well for him there, not to book him for dissent. 30 seconds of normal time to go. 5 additional minutes being predicted by my esteemed colleague, who's seldom wrong about these things. Gladkey's going to take the free kick away to the right-hand side. Ipswich, who must have felt that they might be on the brink of elimination 15 minutes into the night when they trailed 2-0, now 5 minutes away or so from going through.
There's plenty of character on this team, in this squad. 2-0 down at home to Cardiff not that long ago. Came back to win 3-2.
You are correct, 5 additional minutes. Fabio Silva and Edmondson both getting involved. And there is the yellow card for Cunha, which had been in the post for about a minute for his descent, and he's just had another moan as a free kick has gone Ipswich's way, and this time he has been booked.
Yeah, I actually have some sympathy with him in the fact that I thought he was a bit unlucky to be penalised for the foul on George Edmondson a minute ago, but you can't react like that. You simply cannot react like that, so in that respect he deserves his yellow card.
Now, one thing I should have mentioned earlier, incidentally, amongst the bookings in the first half, Evans booked for Ipswich, and he will miss the next round if they go through suspension. It's his second yellow card of the tournament. That is the marker which a suspension kicks in, a one-match ban. So if Ipswich do hold on in these 5 additional minutes, we've had the first of them, and then Evans will be banned for the 4th round tie. Williams bringing it forward. Oh, what a nutmeg that is from Hurst in towards Humphreys, but he couldn't take it on inside the penalty area. If Hurst meant that, it was a moment of inspiration. On the turn, flicks it between the legs of the nearest Wolves defender. They can't make the most of it. It's a throw to Wolves, which will be taken level with the edge of the Ipswich box. 90 seconds of stoppage time have elapsed. 3.5 minutes to go. 3-2 to Ipswich.
I quite like the fact that the clock now just continues to run, don't you, beyond 90. Gives the supporters insight into how long has actually been played.
And that just goes to show I've been looking at the wrong clock for the last couple of minutes, because the one I'm looking at isn't But you're absolutely right. The one over in the corner of the ground nearest the Wolves
There is a reason.
is ticking on.
The one away to our left-hand side, I think, is programmed to stop at 90, and it won't go beyond that, whereas the new screen away to our right has got the ability to go beyond the 90.
Yeah, I always thought it was a bit of a nonsense that it stopped at 90 minutes anyway. Just everybody having to start stopwatches on their phones or whatever. 3 minutes to go, ball play forward, Cunha will chase after it, and his strength has worked wonders here for Wolves. Fraser playing it on in towards Silver inside the penalty area, a little bit of pinball, but Baggett's there to clear. 4 towards Hurst, holding up the Ipswich Town number 27, back for Burns. Burns slams it clear with a little bit of backspin, trying to get a Luco to chase towards the edge of the penalty area. Bentley comes out, fields it, trying to get Wolves going again. 2.5 to go. Wolves in desperate need of an equaliser now. 2 up in this game until the 28-minute mark. Now trailing 3-2. Johnny over the halfway line. Fabio Silva makes the run. Doherty will play him in. In Silva's sense he might be offside. He's not. Fraser's in the middle. Low ball in towards the near post. Ipswich deal with the threat calmly and will be able to clear with Williams. Williams forward towards Hurst. Hurst losing his battle against Sandy Bueno, who can bring it forward. Hurst ended up on the deck, but he made that happen. Ball out towards Doherty. Doherty trying to get around the back of Brandon Williams. Clips it back from Mateus Cunha. Cunha taking it on inside the penalty area. Laid back towards Johnny Otto. Otto to the corner of the area. Scooped in by Doherty. Fabio Silva goes up for it. Hits the bar and is put in, but the flag is up. And just as Wolves thought they might have equalised, the offside flag saves them.
Wow, I wasn't sure. Kieran McKenna was hoping for a foul on the halfway line. I thought George Hurst was being pulled back, but play was allowed to continue. And that ball came in. It's a lovely floated ball in from Matt Doherty. And just having a look at the ball into the area, I think Fabio Silva was just a fraction offside, and I'm talking a fraction.
Well, so close. So close. Minute to go. A late equaliser for Mansfield at home to Peterborough. Lucas Aiken's penalty. A 2-2 there. That one's seemingly destined to go. 2 penalties at Field Mill. And Man United's youngsters beaten 8-1 at Bolton. That's finished. Here's Aït-Nouri bringing it forward. Goes out towards the Wolves' left-hand side. 35 seconds to go. Ball inside the Ipswich penalty area. They're arriving like a cavalry charge. He's poked clear. Somehow, one of the Ipswich players getting a foot to his Luongo. He did really well. And then Hurst trying to roll Santi Bueno, who that time did seem to have a touch of the shirt. The referee says no foul. Throw to Wolves. They need to get it taken. 10 seconds of the 5 minutes remain. Ball thrown forward towards halfway. Ipswich win it back. And then a free kick goes their way, given away by João Gomez. And that will probably be that. It is. It's another stunning Portland Road night.